let's dive into some of the futures in the NFL. Is there anything out there in the MVP market, anything that you're liking in terms of trying to analyze that?
When you go through in terms of AFC and NFC conference futures, as ridiculous as this sounds, I don't think there's a lot of value other than on some of the favorites potentially. Just given the fact that all of these teams are going to have difficult roads in front of them, there's not a huge disparity. And barring some unforeseen circumstances, we're not going to see double digit favorites in either the AFC or NFC playoff picture. So for a team like the Colts that I think can win the AFC, you're better off betting these teams on the money line and rolling them over game in, game out. Now, as far as the MVP, I think Tom Brady's number has been overcompensated. He went from being an odds-on favorite at FanDuel going into last weekend. He, of course, puts up the goose egg the first time in an eternity in their loss against the Saints, and Aaron Rodgers moves into the catbird seat. But this is an award where humans vote on it. It's not just on-field performance. And I think Tom Brady still has a legitimate shot. So at a price just shy of 2-1, I think Brady makes some sense. I unfortunately can't buy into the long shot value with Jonathan Taylor at 9-1 or Cooper Kupp at 33 because I don't see a scenario where voters are going to give it to a skill position player. And what's interesting about Kupp, I think you could have had him at 200-1 a few weeks ago. He's been dominant. And I think when you look at that Rams roster, he's the engine that makes that team go. I'm not going to discredit Matthew Stafford, but I'd rather hold a Cooper Kupp ticket, in the mid 30s than I would betting Matthew Stafford at 15-1. As far as some of the other awards that are out there, I think if TJ Watt misses any time or he's not 100%, you could make a legitimate case for a rookie and Micah Parsons, not just to be defensive rookie of the year, but also defensive player of the year. The impact he's had on that Cowboys defense, spearheaded by Dan Quinn, has been outstanding and pretty incredible. That the knock on this guy when he opted out last year from Penn State was that they questioned his heart and his love of football. If this guy doesn't love football and the numbers he's putting up in his debut campaign in Dallas, I'd hate to see it if he ever put his blood, sweat, and tears into the sport. But Micah Parsons, defensive player of the year, 3.5-1. I actually think that's got a much better chance than the market suggests.